Continuing with the study of the institution that didn't consolidate. Number 3, second part. And after in a reiterative way having cleared out what the will of God and the will of the religious groups, well, we have to continue advancing in the study. And to begin, we will do the corresponding analysis which we are forced first to fundament in one or various passages of the scriptures to be able to understand the revealing principles that can allow us to comprehend the uncertain events of the future. And most important, the revelation of what has been hidden for centuries and centuries and that few people have known and understand throughout history. This is very important. The analysis in the scriptures is one of the most fascinating things that there is. Normally, we have the criteria that we do as a sort of comparison in our life, and we have the very bad habit, we cannot say it in another way, that we grab the Holy Scriptures and we take it like if we were reading a bestseller or any book, maybe The Count of Monte Cristo or this novel of Left Behind, or any other book in which we normally do is to begin reading it and we devour it depending on our velocity of reading and comprehension in a determined time. There are some of us that take more time, others that take moderately, and some that take less time. And here is where the problem lies, because the Holy Scriptures is not made for that method or for that actuality. As any ancient book, it doesn't have the capacity of rapid lecture. It's not the sense to be a text of rapid reading or idle or distractive reading. On the contrary, for those who have studied ancient books, there exists principles and rules that must be respected. One of them is that they are texts in which the knowledge has to be read, analyzed, comprehended, captured, because are not made as a novel, as a light literature, but they have so much substance that any velocity that is put in it will only mean the waste of knowledge. So that is why you are going to see a lot of people that interpret as the scriptures as they like and in their own way, and create a countless and diversity of doctrines and beliefs, because they believe that they can be talking and talking and talking and talking and interpreting it as they like it. But if you do not do an analysis of the scriptures, you commit a grave mistake that in time you will be suffering because you have stolen the substance and importance of the text. That is why we consider that a profound and delicate analysis must be part of a study of the scriptures. Contrary, what we will have is someone that doesn't comprehend the word and that uses it as any other text, repeating it, but without substance. But that doesn't have to be that way, because if we do not do an analysis, we do not investigate, and we do not fundament what we believe, sooner or later we will hit the wall. And we will begin believing things that are not true. Why? Because in the scriptures are conjugated a series of principles and elements that serve to equilibrate the thought, the context, the idea, and the vision of the things. And if you do not have an adequate analysis and do not possess the revealing principles, hardly you will understand the uncertain events of the future, because this is a very complicated matter. To give an example, just looking history, what has happened with a countless of persons that have dared, that have pretended, and that have abused in revealing the uncertain events of the future. Specific cases as the Adventists, whose history is enriched with that birth of profound abuse regarding to what according to them were the events of the future, that were no longer uncertain according to them, even though we understand they have not changed at all. They remain to be uncertain. And the only thing that history gathers are the grave mistakes that have taken place as a result of that ignorance of the revealing principles that are imbued in the scriptures. So we have to be clear that we cannot comprehend the future of the different events registered in the scriptures if we do not apply those revealing principles, and henceforth if we cannot understand the uncertain events of the future. With much more reason, the revelation will not be captured by us. So as you can see, everything is concatenated in such a way that if we do not use the different tools that there exist in the scriptures, we will be astray, lost, as many people are or have been. Proof of that, you can see it in the particular and reiterative case of the prophecies of Michel of Nostradamus. Or you can go to different libraries and find different texts that have been produced to explain, according to the authors of those books, the prophecies that are found in Daniel and Apocalypse, even though until nowadays nobody has get it right. But it is a big quantity and barbarity of texts that have been written and until today are still waiting for their fulfillment. We guess because this issue of the prophecy and of Apocalypse is a serious matter, like that. Serious. And it's serious because you have to see that God doesn't give the whole world the revelation, much less the interpretation of things. Even though there are many people that say that God talks to them. There are a lot of people that say that they are prophets of God. There are others that say barbarously that they are even apostles, a scandalous thing. In the times of the Messiah, after Jesus the Messiah left, with the years some apostles appeared, but nowadays there exists an exaggerated quantity of them, and a lot of barbarians that said that they are apostles, because maybe they graduated from a religious group or from a religious school and were given a title, and that of a title gives them a status quo, and we suppose some type of privileges. So we return to the same starting point. In other words, one thing is what religious people say, another thing is what God says. So we go back to the same. If you do not have the revealing principles of the Scriptures, how will you understand the uncertain events of the future? And how do you pretend to understand the revelation of God? So at the end, what will happen or will occur is that you will end lost in the labyrinth of the deceit and of the religious confusion. And at the end you will be one more number of the ones that are lost or left behind. So we consider that it is fundamental that these revealing principles are respected, that the scriptures are studied as it should be in the order, not as if it was a magazine or a newspaper or a light book that we read to lose a little bit of time, because whoever dares to do this will find that in the end will not take anything, didn't understood anything, and didn't knew anything, and what will obtain as a fruit is to get lost. So we consider that it is fundamental to be clear that the knowledge of the Holy Scriptures, utilized, applied, and done in the correct way will produce truth. If not, we will continue finding confused and deceived people. Before we conclude this stage, we would like to invite you to visit our webpage. The address is churchofgod.tk. Also, you can write to our email, thelastchurch7 in number, okay, gmail.com. And if you have some doubt, some question, some questioning, some commentary that you want to do us, we will gladly read it. And if possible, if there is any topic that you will want to be addressed, we will do an effort to bring it to the radio. This transmission is thanks to the will of God and this radio of the Church of God, and we hope to continue moving forward. Thank you.